everyone. Welcome to Topic of the Day. In this edition, we are going to talk about the Wildlife Protection Amendment Bill 2021. We all are well averse with the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And recently, the Wildlife Protection Amendment Bill 2021 was introduced in the Lok Sabha, which aimed to amend this particular act. Let us discuss the key highlights of this bill one by one. First of all, this bill empowers the central government to regulate or prohibit the import, trade, possession, or proliferation of invasive alien species. When we talk about invasive alien species, it refers to plant or animal species which are not native to India. Also, the Act entrusts the Chief Wildlife Warden to control, manage, and maintain all sanctuaries in the state. The Chief Wildlife Warden is appointed by the state government. Thirdly, under this Act, the state governments may declare the areas adjacent to national parks and sanctuaries as conservation reserve for protecting flora and fauna and their habitat. Also, this bill provides for any person to voluntarily surrender any captive animal or animal products to the Chief Wildlife Warden. This act prescribes imprisonment terms and fines for violating the provisions of the act. And finally, the amendment bill has proposed to set up a standing committee of the State Board for Wildlife, which is to be headed by the vice chairperson, that is the forest minister, and not more than 10 members to be nominated by the forest minister. Let us now discuss the significance of this bill. First of all, the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 regulates the protection of wild animals, birds, and plants. But this bill seeks to increase the species protected under the law and implement the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna, that is CITES. Also, it would foster the participation of forest dwellers within the national parks. Further on, it has mandated the need to consult the Gram Sabha in protected areas falling under scheduled areas. Let us now talk about the schedules of the Wildlife Protection Act. There are 6 schedules that are provided in the Wildlife Protection Act. The first one covers endangered species, and absolute protection is accorded under this schedule. Then we have Schedule 2nd. Animals are accorded high protection and their trade is prohibited. Further on, we have Schedule 3 and Schedule 4, in which species that are not endangered are listed. Under the 5th schedule, the animals listed can be hunted. And under the 6th schedule, that is the last one, it contains plants that are forbidden from cultivation. Let us now talk about CITES, which stands for Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. It was conceptualized in 1963 at IUCN meeting. It is an international agreement between governments to regulate international trade of plants and animals. Also, CITES is legally binding on the parties, that is, it does not take the place of national laws, and India is a party to the CITES Convention since 1976. Now, let us take up a practice question on this topic. If a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, what is the implication? A license is required to cultivate the plant. B. Such a plant cannot be cultivated under any circumstances. C. It is genetically modified crop plant. And D. Such a plant is invasive and harmful to the ecosystem. You can write your answers in the comment section below. So the correct answer is option number B, as the 6th schedule of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 contains plants that are forbidden from cultivation. So such a plant cannot be cultivated under any circumstances. Therefore, we have B as correct option. Well, that's a wrap of today's edition of Topic of the Day. For regular updates, you can follow us on our social media handles. And for more such videos, do stay tuned to the next IAS YouTube channel.